Good evening, everyone. Rob Orson with the Emerging Revolutionary War with Dan Welch. We are actually standing now over in Charlestown. The reenactment of Paul Revere crossing the Charles River has just taken place. We're actually at the original site that Revere landed at the National Park Service. Marker right here, and the plaque we'll show you in a second. Keep in mind, we're pretty early right now. The actual landing here was at 10:30 their time, which, if we're keeping track of the savings time, is 11:30 our time today. But the city did everything a little bit earlier. As we follow along with Revere, we'll be picked back up in time because we are staying up all night to do this. But yeah, right here is the Charles River. You obviously have the USS Constitution today, which is a wonderful ship. If you ever come to Boston, check out the Charlestown Navy Yard. It's fantastic, run by the Park Service and the Foundation and the Navy. It's still an active Navy ship. We've been talking about Revere. We all know about Revere. There's a poem. There's also other writers. And Dan's been talking a little bit about another one that left here in Boston as well, who's just as important as Paul Revere, just didn't have a poem written about it. Go ahead, Dan.
Exactly. So one of the other key writers on the evening of April 18th and into April 19th, a man by the name of William Dawes. Dawes was a native Bostonian. He was born in April of 1745 to Father William Dawes Sr. He was baptized here in Boston at Old South Church. We came from Old North Church a little while earlier tonight, but Old South Church, he was baptized. He'd later enter the occupation of tanner in town. But more importantly, for what Dawes is going to do on the evening of April 18th and April 19th is some of the training he gets as he is elected as a member of the Ancient and Honorable Artillery Company of Massachusetts in April of 1768. He'll marry just a month later in May of 1768. And over the intervening years will receive a lot of education, if you will, during their training and musters for that unit. Now, by the night of April 18th, 75, William Dawes has become a trusted member of one of Joseph Warren's inner circles. And Joseph Warren is going to task Dawes with a very important part of this story. Yes, Paul Revere is going to make his way across the Charles River by rowing past, as we talked about in our earlier video, a British vessel. He's going to arrive on the other side of the river and begin his ride. But William Dawes is going to set upon his mission, which is to alert John Hancock and Samuel Adams of the advance of British forces, but he is going to go the land route. Dawes is actually going to ride via horseback across Boston Neck, and he'll be one of the last people to get across Boston Neck before British control of it shuts down all passageway. And now, with both Dawes and Revere on the other side of the Charles River, their ride is going to continue on, making their way to alert both Hancock and Adams.
Right, keep in mind, Revere and Dawes' mission is just to get to Lexington to let Hancock and Adams know that the regulars are coming. There are other riders out there from Charlestown and other towns around Boston who are alerting all different militia companies. Militia companies are going to start forming up in their towns, and they're going to start congregating. And then obviously what happens early morning on April 19th will change everything. But at this point, just like many other times that the British regulars have come out, like in Salem, they're going to form up and go out and see what happens. Now, what we're going to do now, Mark is upset that he's not in this video. So we're going to come over, and Billy's going to follow us. Billy's working the camera here. And Bert's going to photobomb because Bert's been photobombing all night. We're going to show you the actual plaque that was placed here at the spot that Revere stopped.
Yeah, and you can see right here, plaque that was put up by the Sons of the American Revolution in 1999, marking this as the site that Paul Revere landed April 18, 1775. Now, it's pretty amazing to stand here on April 18, 2025, exactly 250 years from when Paul Revere landed in this same location on his way for his midnight ride. Off in the distance behind many of the tall buildings, you can still get a glimpse of the Old North Church, and you get goosebumps standing here on the exact anniversary. This is once in a lifetime type thing. So it was great to see as many hundreds of people that came out to watch the reenactment. We are going to be following Paul Revere's ride all night long. So you can continue to follow us. We're going to do a few more videos throughout the late night and early morning hours. We are your home for America's 250th anniversary of the Revolutionary War. And we're going to be doing it all tonight. So, but you can't help but get goosebumps standing here in the place where the history actually happened. Nothing beats being in the spot where it happened.
You know, and speaking of goosebumps and standing in the spot where it happened, to kind of round out our story with William Dawes this evening, Dawes' actions on April 18th and into the early morning hours of the 19th will set off a spark throughout history in his familial line. His great-grandson, Rufus Dawes, will serve with the famed Iron Brigade in the Union Army during the American Civil War, and Rufus Dawes' son will serve as vice president for Calvin Coolidge during his administration. So it's interesting to not only be here 250 years later, but to also see how events that happened in April 1775 rippled through American history via one family into the 20th century. So with that, as Mark said, continue to follow us. We'll be continuing to bring you videos throughout the evening and the overnight hours as we follow the ride and the events that will eventually pick up in Lexington and Concord.